Hello again, everybody. Well, it's a new day. In fact, Sunday, the day after the auction. While I missed out on that Millermatic 251 at the auction, I did, however, just find this today. Guy posted it on Craigslist last night, and I gave him a call maybe an hour or so after he made the posting, and I guess I was the second caller to ask about it, and I guess the other guy wasn't 100% committed to it, so the guy gave me first pick, so I told him I wanted it, and went ahead and picked it up today. It's a Lincoln Power Mig 255, so basically the red equivalent of Miller's 251 machine. Got it on a really decent deal, honestly, so didn't get to see it running or anything, but you know, knowing these machines, you know, I've used Millers, big Millers, I've used big Lincolns. You know, they're pretty robust machines, so I'm not too worried about it. The guy said he did see it under power when he picked it up. I guess he got it from a company that was going out of business and picked it up real cheap, so then, you know, that's what he does, goes around and buys up tools and then sells them for a little bit of profit for himself, and that's okay. I got a decent deal on it and he made a little money, so everybody wins. Go ahead and get this unit unhooked here. So it's pretty much got everything it needs. I meant the gun is, you know, a little bit beaten up and duct taped, but you know, what can you expect with a machine that's seen some use? You know, otherwise everything is all here, minus a power cord, because I guess they had it hardwired in before, so I got to wire up a power cord before I can actually fire it up. But in terms of all the operating, you know, dials and switches and knobs, everything seems to be in place where it should be. You know, the feed mechanism looks like it's in really good shape. So overall, I'm pretty happy that I found this. Just need to install a bigger breaker and run some more 220 volt outlets throughout the shop, and I can fire this up and start welding some things. That, and I'll buy a bigger shielding gas cylinder for it. The one I have is only 80 cubic feet, so I'll probably get one that's at least 140 cubic footer, but like I said, everything is here and in pretty decent shape. You know, that's where all the wiring stuff comes in. You run your cord up through there and run the wires, and it's got the little wiring diagram for where you hook up everything, and pretty self-explanatory. So like I said, real happy with the find and got it for a really good deal, so no complaints here yet. Like I said, hopefully it should be in good shape. It doesn't look too abused or anything, but you know, we'll see when we hook it up to power, I guess. But I'm going to go ahead and get this unit hooked up to get pulled out of the truck. Alrighty, so what I've done is got my engine hoist ready, and I just took a couple of straps and got one in front of the front wheels and one behind the back wheels, and I'll just go ahead and take the tie-down hooks and hook those to the hook on the engine hoist and use that to pick up the welder, and then probably just slide it out on the engine hoist wheels and set her down on the ground. Got the straps all hooked up and snugged up. So forgot to mention that when I went and picked up this welder, guy was having kind of a big tool sale. Saw a table with a few hammers on them and saw these couple pair of hammers. A nice little cross peen. It's a little bit smaller than my other cross peen. Make a good forging hammer, and same with this little guy. So I saw those on the table and asked him how much he wanted for them, and he just threw it in with the whole deal with the welder. So that's not too bad. Pretty nice guy. Get a couple hammers in, a welder, for the same price, I guess. But anyways, now it's out of the truck, you can get a little bit better view of the welder. Let's see, it's a Power Mig 255. Got your on-off switch here, and then you got your wire speed and your output voltage and amperage adjustment, and these are both on digital readouts, which is kind of nice. Infinitely adjustable, no preset settings or anything. So it's also got this kind of handy little lockable tool compartment. You know, you get a few extra, shrouds and contact tips that have been just thrown in the box there, and a whole bag of extra contact tips here. Like some string and pair of pliers, but anyways, that's not too bad of a deal. Little water in there, but anyways, like I said, pretty decent unit. Got your wire feed mechanism, tensioner. I've heard good things about the wire feed mechanism in this particular welder. I've heard that a lot of people prefer this to the Miller version, but then again, they're both good machines. So got your spool holder and spring-loaded collar to hold it in place. But like I said, pretty happy with the find, and now all I got to do is get a power cord for it and wire it up and switch out a breaker in my panel over there to a bigger breaker, since this unit here will probably need at least 60 amps of welding power, or input power I should say, and the 220 outlet I have is on a 30 amp breaker, so either I have to switch the breaker out, or I might just leave that one where it is and go ahead and wire up a new circuit and put in a bigger breaker. But for the moment, that's the most recent find, and pretty pleased with it, as long as it works. But next thing on the list is a big metal cutting bandsaw, something quite a bit bigger than that little guy. And once I get this up and running and in the shop wired to handle it, and the big bandsaw, then I can go ahead and start with my hydraulic press build, which is kind of first thing on the list, aside from getting all this unpacked. But that's the first major thing I want to do, is as soon as I get the shop settled, is build a nice big hydraulic press. So this is one of the key pieces of equipment that I will need to do that, and the other is a metal cutting bandsaw that can cut some pretty hefty I-beams. Well, I went ahead and got a little bit curious, just wanted to make sure that this did actually work, since didn't get to see it powered up. So what I went ahead and did is I borrowed the cord out of this belt or buffer I had, and kind of did a quick wire job into the welder here, just so I could power it up and see if it all works. And additionally, I went and pulled the little roll spool of wire out of my little Hobart and threw it in there. Now this is only on a 30 amp breaker, so I can't run too high amperages or I'll pop the breaker with this unit. But good news is she fires right up. All of the speed and voltage regulators seem to function properly, so that's good. And as you can see, wire feed works, and if you crank it up, works at faster speed as well. So initially everything seems like it works and is in good shape, but what I'm going to go ahead and do now is I just threw a little chunk of rebar in there, and you know, I don't have shielding gas hooked up to this or anything for the moment, so I'm not really going to try and weld. I just want to see if she'll try and strike an arc. Aside from not wanting to strike an arc worth anything due to lack of shielding gas, definitely seems like she works. So looks like I definitely got a good deal with this unit. So there we go. Not too bad of a buy for